What's going on YouTube? In today's video, I'll be working on my Silverado right here. So I'll be servicing the brakes because they started squeaking. So if you want to go ahead and check it out, make sure you stay tuned and let's get to it. All right guys, so I'll be working on the Silverado right here and my truck is a 2000. Also, this is not a how-to video. I'm just showing you guys how I'm doing it on my truck because I'm not a certified mechanic or anything like that. So anytime you're working on your brakes or anything like that, just be careful or take it to a professional because you don't want to be messing around with anything like that because you know you could get into an accident. So with that being said, let me go ahead and start taking it apart and checking out my brakes right here. All right, so I have the truck inside and I'll go ahead and start putting it on jack stands.
Oh, okay, what are you, hey!
You've been driving on tires.
All right, so I got all 4 wheels off and you can kind of see right here in the front rotors that they're a little bit, you know, messed up. So they have some grooves in them and a pad right here. So this front one doesn't look too bad, but here in the back one, you can kind of see where it's actually touching on the rotor. So yeah, they have to be changed out. So this back pad is the one that's actually touching on the rotor and making it squeal, because this one right here still has a little bit of, you know, brake pad on it. So I'll go ahead and start changing them out. And the back ones over here, they don't look too bad, but I might still change them out as well. But this one, you can see that the rotor is all flat and it doesn't feel bad, so it doesn't look too bad right there. So in the front here are the worst ones, and these I'm probably gonna have to get the rotor resurfaced as well. So both front ones are the same. The pad that's touching a lot is on the driver's side, so this one's almost there, so I'll just change them out together. And this back one right here looks the same as the other back one, so pretty smooth, not too bad. So the caliper looks pretty good, doesn't look like any brake fluid is leaking out, so you know, looks pretty dry all up in this area, so that's good. So I'll start off by taking off the 2 bolts that are holding the caliper. So there's one here and then one in the bottom. And mine's actually has the ones with the T55. So they have this star bit. I don't know why they would do that, but I don't like those. But you know, there's some of them that have like actual millimeter bolts. So 15 millimeters or 18, something like that. You know, I'm not sure. But this one has the stars. So that's the bolt right there. You can see the star bit. And like I said, some of them will have different ones. Mine's has this one. So I'll go ahead and start taking them off. And this bottom one too. I really prefer the ones that have bolts because, you know, these are easier, I feel, to strip or something because, you know, these teeth are not too common. So that's what mine has. But, you know, maybe later on if I upgrade it, that would be good to change them out. And there's the slider pins right there. So that's what it looks like. And I'll go ahead and put this one right here. The ones that I like better are the ones that actually have like a hex head right here and then also a bolt, so you can kind of grab them from both sides. But this one only has, you know, this side right here, so that's what I'll use, and maybe later on I can change them out. I actually do want to upgrade these also, even on the Tahoe, but you know, this is what I have for now. All right, so that one's out and it still has some grease because I had done it a long time ago, so it's good. So the pins look pretty good because sometimes they can get stuck in there and then you have to replace, you know, the caliper bracket or something like that. So it's good that those came out just good like that. And I'll go ahead and slide out this caliper now. All right, so sometimes it helps out to use like a pry bar or a flathead. So let's see if it'll come out or if I have to like pry it. It's not too bad, so it's coming out. But it's a little stuck, so let's say I could just, you know, kind of stick it in here, and then that kind of helps out sometimes. A pry bar is actually better. Trying to compress the piston a little bit because they're kind of tight. It's probably got a lot of brake dust in there. All right, there it goes. So that helped out. And I'll just put this up here because you don't want to drop this thing and, you know, bend these hoses, then they get damaged. Because I don't want it to hang on the brake hose right here because then it'll kink it and then this can get damaged and lock up the brakes and then you'll have a big mess. So, you know, these will end up getting damaged and you have to replace all that right there. So here's the inside pad, which is really worn. So it's super flat.
Oh, no, no.
Let me know what you guys think on that right here. So it was time to change this one out. And then this one right here had a little bit. So it looks okay from here, but from the outside it's pretty thin. So had to change both of them out. All right, so what I'll do now is also remove this bracket right here. So I use the 18 millimeter right here, and I'll go ahead and remove the bottom bolt and then this top one because I'm gonna have to take this bracket off so I can replace my rotor, or I'm gonna take it to get resurfaced, or you could use like a new rotor, but I'm just gonna resurface mine because I think it'll be a little bit cheaper right now. And I'll just use my Milwaukee impact right here. All right, so both of those are off right there, and now I can get my rotor off. Sometimes they're a little bit stuck also, so it looks pretty bad. And the same on the inside, so it's all like kind of scratched up. So I'll try to get it resurfaced because it still looks like it has a lot of material. So now I can go ahead and do it on the passenger side, and the pistons right here look pretty good. So it looks like they're dry and no brake fluid is leaking out, which is good, because you don't want none of that leaking out, or you have to replace it. And I'll go ahead and start taking the other ones apart, and then I can do the back ones. On my back brakes, this caliper right here has a 1 piston only, and then it uses a 12 millimeter in my case, but I'm not sure, like I said, some of them may be different sizes, but this one has a 12 millimeter. So I'll go ahead and take these off, even though they look good, but I just want to see if I can get some new ones, since they had the lifetime warranty, which is what I like. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it off right now as well. But the disc I'm gonna leave in place because it looks pretty good. So right here on my back caliper is what I'm talking about, where they have a nut right here and then the bolt is on this side. So I had to put a wrench on this side and then unbolt it with the ratchet from this side right here. I do kind of like this setup though, because I can hold on to this side and then here, instead of just having it spin out. So I'll go ahead and take it off apart now. So I just wanted to show you guys that right there. So my front ones are bigger because they're dual piston, and the back ones are just single piston, but they look real good. So I'm gonna just see if I can swap them out, and if not, I'll just go ahead and put these back. And that's the other set on the rear. So both of them look exactly the same, and then the two front ones look the same. So I went ahead and got the front pads right here, and this is the model number right there. So they're the Duralast Gold, and so this is what they look like right here. So pretty nice, compared to the ones that I already had that were all wasted. And then I found the box for the rear ones right here. So that's the model number right there. And then these right here are just my old ones. So the very first time that I swapped them out, so they were already messed up right there. And they couldn't find them on the computer. So I'm gonna figure out if I'm gonna have to purchase a new set, or if they can find it again. But that's the same number right there that I'm looking for. And if not, I can leave the same ones that I already had because they were still okay. So for today, the main ones is these right here. All right guys, so for the rear, I'm gonna go ahead and reuse the same pads that I had because they're pretty good. And all I did was clean up the metal pieces right here and add some new grease. So you can kind of see it a little bit right there. And then back here, you kind of see the grease. This is the one that I like to use right here. So it's a brake lubricant, and you can use it on all the contact spots of the brake. So on the actual pad, and then on the metal parts right here, and on the sliding pins. So I also went ahead and cleaned them up and added some new grease on there. And I'll go ahead and put them on right now. And this one right here is really good, so I'll go ahead and link it down below in the description as well. So my slide pins right here, this one is the bottom one, so I'll go ahead and put it in right here. And I'm not a mechanic expert, but I know that these should be moving around. So if yours don't move or they don't come out, then something is wrong with them, and they probably got to be replaced. So they should be something like that. And there it goes. And I like to put a lot of the lubricant right there so that it can pack the little boot right here, because I want my brakes to work right, so I don't want them to be like messed up. All right, so there it is. So that's pretty good. So if these boots are broken, they need to be replaced, but mines are good, so I'm gonna just leave them alone. And then this one as well. So they're good right there. So the pad life on these is pretty good, and I'll just leave them alone this time, and next time I can change them out if they wear out. So I applied the brake lubricant on top and on the bottom, and also on the slides, so that should make it better, because I don't want them to be squeaking and stuff like that. All right, so there it is right there. All right, so there it is. That's both of them back in. And I just gotta compress the piston right here so that I can, close it. Or actually, on this one, I don't have to compress it because these are the same pads, so it should be good. But I'll go ahead and, check it out right now. So the good thing back here is that the pad life is okay. And, I just went ahead and serviced it right there, cleaning it up and adding some new lubricant on all the points right here because, you want them to be functioning correctly. So I'll just go ahead and bolt up my caliper back and it should be good to go. And then I can just wait for the front ones. So before I put on the caliper bolts, I did go ahead and apply a little bit of the red Loctite And I know not everybody likes to do that. Some of them like to use, you know, the blue Loctite, but I use the red because I've seen them come apart before and I don't want them to like fall out. So I just put a little bit of it. So I like to use the red one because I've used the blue one before and I've actually had a caliper, you know, come off before and get damaged. So that's why I like to be sure and put that red right here. And it shouldn't be too bad to get it off next time anyways because they have this bolt on the other side. So it's not too bad, but that's just my preference right there. And you guys let me know what you think on that. So my rear calipers are back on and I'm just waiting on the front, you know, rotors right there. And while I was waiting, I just went ahead and cleaned up a little bit on the suspension right here. So it's got a, you know, 4-link right here. And back here, you know, the airbag, because the truck does have an air suspension. So my airbag system on the Silverado is by KP Components, and you can see it's just like a bolt-on kit. So it's not too bad on the installation, and that's why I did it myself right there. And on the bottom, I'm using the Watts link, so you can't really see it right here, but I'll see if I can try to do a separate video, you know, going a little bit over the suspension right here for anybody that has some questions. But that's the 4-link right there. And I got the Street Performance shocks. The airbags are by Airlift. So I believe they're the 2600, and if not, I'll, you know, link them down below in the description as well. So that's the rear right there in the Silverado, and then, you know, I just have an underbed notch right here. So it's not the biggest notch, but, you know, it's good right there for what I wanted on my truck. All right, guys, so I just ended up getting some new rotors right here. So they're AC Delco, and then, you know, the model number is right here. But I'll also have them linked down below in the description. So I ended up going to O'Reilly's and trying to get the old ones resurfaced, but they wanted to charge me about like $50. So I thought that was too much, and they also weren't guaranteeing that it was gonna be, you know, correctly done. So I ended up getting these in Amazon right here. And so I ended up paying about like $27 for each, which was way better than this right here because it was cheaper and faster. So I just went ahead and ordered these right here, and it just took about a day since they were on Prime. And so I saved some money and I got some new rotors. So I think this was a, you know, not a good idea because they were gonna be already used and it was gonna be more expensive. So I think this was pretty good, and you guys let me know what you think down below in the comments. So these are on my 2000 Silverado, but these are the 12-inch model. So you can kind of see right there, they're 12 inches. And then the old one, it's also 12 inches. So if your rotor is bigger, it's gonna be a different model number, but this is the ones for the 12-inch. So these are the 12-inch rotors. If you have a Tahoe, Yukon, or Silverado, these should work right there. As far as the pads, I am gonna be using the Duralast right here. So I got these from AutoZone with the lifetime warranty on them. So those right there, and then my new rotors. So I'll go ahead and, you know, start assembling it back now and see how it goes. So I got the rotor right here. And it fits pretty good right there. So I'm just gonna put these right here so that I can hold it in place while I'm assembling it. So that should be good right there. So on my bracket, I like to add the, you know, red Loctite because I don't want them to fall off. So I'll be putting some of this on it. I'm not sure if you guys like to do this, but, you know, this is how I like to do it because I don't want my brakes to fall off. So I'm just gonna torque them up with my impact. And remember, you know, I'm not a real mechanic or anything like that. So this is just the way that I like to do it, and you should do it with some torque specs and all that. But I would highly recommend, you know, doing it with the correct torque specs and all that stuff right there. But this is just the way that I'm gonna be doing it right here. So that should be good, and that's why I also added the Loctite right there. And on the pistons, I like to use a C-clamp and the old brake pad so that I can, you know, like close them, and then I can put the new brake pads in place because they're gonna be thicker. So I'll just put the pad right here and try to compress the pistons so that I can, you know, fit on the new pads. And I like to do it in the center, that way, you know, both pistons get compressed at the same time and not like separately. And I also removed the cap off the brake fluid so that way, you know, the pressure doesn't build up too much right there.
I better use my strong hand.
That might be enough, so they look pretty, you know, far in there. So I'll take this off right here. So they look pretty far in. If not, I can, you know, compress it more, but it should be good right there. So I'll just go ahead and put the new hardware. So it should be like this, you know, with this bigger side on the right side, and then the smaller one on the left side right there. And the same way on the top, so the bigger one and then the small one on the left. So again, I'm gonna add some more lubricant onto the slides, and then also on the corners of the pads right here, the same as the ones in the back. All right, so that's one. So now I can just bolt up my caliper right here. So I'll add some on the slides right here as well. I want to make sure that they slide, you know, because you don't want these to be like stuck up in there. All right, so that should be good enough to fit up in here. If not, then I have to close the pistons more. All right, yeah, so they fit. So that was enough right there on the caliper, and then I could just put the bolt back on. All right, so I got my T55 bag right here. I'll go over it with the ratchet because, you know, I don't want to strip the bit on here. That's why I don't like these Torx bit, but that's what they have right here. They feel good now. All right, guys, so it's the next day, and you know, it was getting dark, so I was able to get some better shots right now. Everything is looking good. I went ahead and installed everything back, and I went ahead and pumped the brakes and tested everything out and make sure everything was good. So they came out real good, and now, you know, I have no more squeaking. So I got the new pads, the rotors, and then also in the rear, you know, I just went ahead and cleaned it up and did the maintenance on that with the grease and everything. So I'm glad I waited for these rotors. They actually came the next day instead of the 2-day shipping, so that was good, and I also saved some money. But you guys let me know what you think on that right there. And now I have no squeaking on the brakes, and I have some good brake pads. So I went ahead and drove the truck around, and everything seems pretty good, so no more squealing or anything like that. And if this video helped you out or you like this content, don't forget to hit that like button down below. That way we can keep making more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. We're gone.